Some phones have a notch at the top, some phones have an oversized chin, and some phones go crazy with a full-on motorized camera module that slides up. And then there's this phone, which is kind of an old school approach to a new problem that exists in the new smartphone market. This is the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, and let's check it out. So if you're familiar with Xiaomi's Mi Mix line of smartphones, that is their experimental device. You know, it all started with the Mi Mix, the original one, which had this crazy slim bezel all around the sides and at the top, and with like a little chin at the bottom, which housed the selfie camera. That was like a bit of an issue, but because the phone was so special and it was so made out of ceramic with that body and form factor that you really don't see in any other device, it was truly breathtaking. It was like a stunning phone and I was so impressed with it. That's why I was so disappointed when I saw the Mi Mix 2, because that was Xiaomi sort of commercializing this special experimental idea into a phone that more people could use, and it became sort of like a volume game to me. So it became about selling phones, about selling flagship phones instead of selling this experimental device. I mean, they already had the Mi 8, Mi 6 for that mass market flagship smartphone, so why did they have to cannibalize the Mi Mix? I didn't get that part. For me, that was like the most disappointing thing about the Mi Mix 2. But then now they come back with the Mi Mix 3, and I can kind of see that they're going back to this old school sort of experimental DNA. And a lot of it has to do with its screen. So one of the biggest weaknesses with the Mi Mix line of smartphones is that the selfie camera was always at the bottom. But if you wanted to put it at the top, you would have to have a notch in this sort of minimal bezel smartphone world. Or do you? Because Oppo found a way to do it where they slid the entire camera module up, and now so is Xiaomi. Xiaomi has another way to handle the whole camera conundrum, and that is with this sliding mechanism. So it is a manual sort of sliding mode where if you pull down on the screen, it slides the whole panel down in this magnetic kind of way, and then you find the selfie camera, which is a 24 megapixel main sensor with a 2 megapixel secondary sensor for depth effects. So this is also available. This also supports face unlocking, but it's not the same kind of face unlock as the Xiaomi Mi 8. So it is not that infrared, nor is it that 3D scanning feature. That's what I was told. So, but the rest of these smartphone specs are still top of the line. So you have a Snapdragon 845 processor, up to 10 gigs of RAM, and 256 gigs of internal storage, and then up front you have this huge gorgeous 6.39-inch display that's an AMOLED panel with really just super slim bezels all around. Even the chin has been shaven down to this really minimal sort of form factor, so it doesn't look like it's protruding in any way, and that gives this phone a crazy screen to body ratio of 93.4%. I think the only smartphone with a slightly higher screen to body ratio is the Oppo Find X, but that phone is very close to this. I think that's like 93.8 if I'm not mistaken. So it's very impressive for Xiaomi to sort of put their best foot forward again with this experimental device. The rest of the phone though retains a lot of the Mi Mix's DNA, where the back of the device is not glass, this is actually ceramic, and now it comes in different colors. Previously you had white and black, now you have in black, this awesome green, and a blue color, which I'm not that big a fan of. I really like this green. I think it looks super special, and it's not too showy like the Twilight on Huawei's smartphones, so I'm actually digging this color a lot. But at the back, you'll notice that this phone looks a lot like a Xiaomi flagship, or in fact any other Xiaomi smartphone nowadays, with this same sort of dual camera module, which is the same module as you'd find in the Mi Mix 2. So they haven't changed the hardware specs, but they've tweaked the algorithm a bit, so now it has much better camera performance according to DxOMark. So it has actually the same DxOMark score as the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, which either way you cut it, that is very impressive considering the fact that the hardware hasn't changed in what, 3 phones right now with the Mi 8. So they've done software tweaks and to give you a better camera experience. The band around it is still made of aluminum, but this time instead of it being a matte finish, it is actually glossy, so that's very nice. I've been told that it's aluminum, but honestly it feels heavy and solid like stainless steel, so I will have to double check on this for you. But yeah, the phone feels really premium. It sort of shored up the weakness of the Mi Mix 2, where that was kind of a lighter device and more commercial device. This feels like, once again, that sort of premium exclusive smartphone that we've come to know and love with the Xiaomi Mi Mix series. But yes, well, I really like the build right now. Let's talk more about this sliding mechanism. So the problem with moving parts is always about reliability. So that's why a lot of people were very hesitant to sort of like the Oppo Find X, because that had a motorized moving part. Motors, moving parts, springs, mechanisms, those are all causes of something to fail. Like, you know, something could go wrong and then your cameras wouldn't pop up and your phone would basically be a dud. So this one, they take a more mechanical sort of manual approach where you actually have to physically slide this thing down. And if you want me to describe this feeling, I would have to say that it feels a lot like your traditional slider phones of the days before the smartphones, you know, your Nokia's, Express Musics and stuff, where you have that sliding mechanism. And it's a very subtle sliding mechanism. It doesn't slide a whole lot. I would say it's a lot clickier, a lot cleaner than something like the BlackBerry Priv, which also had a slider mechanism. This is just like, ooh, it's so crisp, and it's the kind of sliding that makes you want to slide it a little more, which actually sounds a bit dangerous. But Xiaomi says that this sliding mechanism is actually pretty reliable. So they rate it for up to 300,000 slides. So if you put that in context, you can slide your screen up and down 1,000 times a day for a year, and I don't think you're going to do that 1,000 times a day. So it seems like a very good place to start in terms of reliability. But the issue with sliding and moving parts is also dust buildup. So one thing I noticed when I was using the Oppo Find X is that it had a lot of dust, which was like just caught in all like the little crevices of the mechanism, and that made it look really ugly. It didn't affect performance, but I can foresee that this device will have that same problem, because I already see like dust build up in the little corners of this fancy sliding mechanism. Will that affect performance overall? It's hard to say right now because this is sort of like my first hands-on. But yeah, I really like this. I really dig it. I think it's like an old school way to solve a new world problem, and it's an elegant one. It's effective. Unlike something like the Huawei Mate 20 Pro or even the Mi 8 Explorer Edition, this does not have an in-display fingerprint scanner, even though it has an AMOLED screen. So you will find a normal fingerprint scanner right at the back, but this phone supports wireless charging, 10-watt fast wireless charging via the Qi standard. If I had one complaint, it would be the battery size, because this smartphone's battery is only a 3200 milliamp hour cell, which is actually very small by today's smartphone standards. I mean, the Mate 20 Pro has a 4000 milliamp hour cell. Most of the other flagships have over 3,500 milliamp hours, you know, and so to have a phone with only 3,200 milliamp hours is actually pretty disappointing. I don't know how that would affect battery life. MIUI has generally been very frugal, so we'll see when we get a chance to give this a full review. But the good news is you do get a wireless charger in the box with every purchase of the Mi Mix 3. So this is their fast charging one with 10 watts. You can see at the back here, it's actually 5V2A and 9V2A. So it's their fast charger, which I think is a pretty sweet deal. I don't know of any other smartphone that bundles a wireless charger, especially a fast wireless charger in the box. So that's pretty nice. But unfortunately, the information regarding availability of this smartphone is actually very scarce, especially in Malaysia right now, because this phone, I don't have the price for it. Xiaomi can't even give me a exact date in which this smartphone will actually go on sale. All they can do is tell me that they're trying to make sure that this smartphone makes it into Malaysia by the end of this year or in January of next year, which is, I guess, a reasonably tight window, but it's still quite a long wait considering it's still October now. There's no pricing details. I don't have any memory configuration, so I don't know what kind of smartphone we'll get. Hopefully we'll get the top spec one with 10 gigs of RAM also, but I can't say for certain. The good news is that I'm actually pretty impressed with this smartphone right now. I think it's a pretty big step up from the Mi Mix 2, which for me, was the device that they sort of lost the plot with regarding their Mi Mix line of smartphones. This one is closer to that first generation Mi Mix, closer to the wow factor that I saw with that first generation Mi Mix. I don't think it's quite there yet, but I love that they solved the biggest problem I had with the Mi Mix, which was the ridiculous placement of the selfie camera. Now it's at the top, so you can have a proper normal selfie like a normal person. You don't have to turn the phone around anymore. So yeah, I think that this is definitely more true to the Mi Mix design philosophy than the Mi Mix 2. So I'm very excited, I'm very impressed with it, and I can't wait to give this smartphone a proper try. So that's all I have to say for now. If you have any questions regarding the Mi Mix 3, be sure to drop them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. What do you guys think of the Mi Mix 3? Let me know in the comments below as well. And that is it from me. That was my quick first look and hands-on with the Mi Mix 3. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click on that notification bell icon so that you'll know whenever we post a brand new video. If you want to know more about the Mi Mix 3, be sure to click on the news article or the hands-on article, which will be linked in the description below. And that's it. That's all from me here at the Mi Mix hands-on event. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep your browser locked to searchinshow.com, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!